Primetime in the 80s felt like comfort food, glowing wood-paneled living rooms, synthy theme songs, and the ritual of plopping down on the couch right on the hour. But under the cozy glow, some shows slammed on the brakes and took a hard turn. The instant a star walked out the door. Tonight we're unpacking 10-star exits that didn't just make headlines. They rewired the shows themselves, the contract standoffs, surprise walkouts, bold recasts, and the pivots that followed. Expect fast, juicy mini-stories, some wait what? Revelations, and a nostalgia ride through the moments that changed the map of 80s TV. If the 80s and early 90s are your happy place, tap subscribe. Let's roll. Number 10, Shelley Long leaves Cheers and the bar grows up. In 1987, season 5 to 6, Diane and Sam were the heartbeat of early Cheers, the fizzy will they won't they that powered the banter and kept the regulars spinning. When Shelley Long bowed out in the late 80s, it could have sunk the place faster than a spilled beer on the pool table. Instead, the show remixed itself. Kirstie Alley's Rebecca Howe wasn't a love interest retread. She was a corporate striver turned lovable disaster, which shifted the energy from romantic tango to workplace farce. Sam Malone evolved from chasing Diane to navigating office politics, money woes, and the existential dread of a bar owner who sometimes wants his bar back. The ensemble stepped forward, the jokes widened, and the series didn't just survive, it hit a second golden run. That's a star exit turning a corner instead of a cliff. The alchemy worked because Rebecca wasn't a new Diane. She's image-obsessed, deeply insecure, and gloriously bad at pretending she's in control. A perfect foil for Sam's recovered swagger. The writers mined class anxiety, corporate versus blue-collar, gender politics, and the fragility of self-image for jokes that didn't need the will they won't they engine. Watch how the regulars level up. Carla tests Rebecca's facade, Frasier and Lilith spin into elegant chaos, and Woody's sweet naivete turns into a cheat code for punchlines. The bar shifts into a true ensemble. Proof that one exit can unlock new gears for everyone else. Before we hit the next gear, if that first pivot brought back the clink of Cheers glasses in your head, tap subscribe and ring the bell. We're about to hit dream seasons, surgical recasts, and cousins who weren't quite Bo and Luke. Number 9, Patrick Duffy's exit turns Dallas into a dream. 1985 to 86 gave us the dream season. Bobby returns in 1986. When Patrick Duffy left Dallas, the writers drove straight into the wall. Literally. Bobby Ewing died. The show spiraled into grief arcs, and ratings got wobbly. Then came television's most infamous reset button, a season revealed as a dream so Bobby could step out of the shower like nothing happened. It was audacious, maddening, and a little brilliant. A meta-apology and a get-out-of-plot jail card in one. Fans still debate the move, but here's the truth. Dallas reclaimed its core dynamic overnight. The price was credibility. The payoff was chemistry. The reset hinged on blast from the past, the season 10 premiere that pays off the infamous shower reveal. The dream season is still shorthand for narrative whiplash. It let writers undo a year of choices, resurrect a fan favorite, and dare the audience to play along. Was it cheating? Maybe. Was it captivating? Absolutely. The morning after water cooler chatter was deafening. The move also locked Dallas into TV mythology. Anytime a show handwaves continuity now, someone jokes about a shower scene. The template, large, messy, audacious, came from this exact exit and return. Number 8, Valerie Harper. Fired, the Hogan Family is born. In 1987, contract disputes exploded. By fall, the show re-emerged as The Hogan Family. Valerie began as a family sitcom anchored by Valerie Harper's wit and warmth, a smart, grounded mom balancing chaos with a side eye. Mid-run, Harper was fired. The show killed the character off-screen, and suddenly the series was rechristened The Hogan Family, with Sandy Duncan as Aunt Sandy. It wasn't a gentle retool, it was a sledgehammer pivot. And yet the new version found a groove, tilting toward the boys' perspectives and a different brand of heart. Behind the scenes, lawsuits flew. On screen, the lesson was simpler. A lead can vanish and the show can still stand, if it figures out who it is now. From a craft perspective, the tonal swap is wild. Valerie's sly adult humor gave way to plots that centered brothers scheming and stumbling toward responsibility, with Aunt Sandy as the corkscrew of tough love. The camera's point of view literally got lower, closer to the kids' eye lines and problems. The legal battle became a Hollywood cautionary tale, but the creative feat is underrated. The writers retrofitted a show mid-flight and made it feel intentional. That's TV carpentry at speed. Number 7. Ron Howard leaves. Happy Days. Fonzie takes the wheel. 1980. Ron Howard exits. Fonzie moves center stage. Richie Cunningham had been the earnest center of Happy Days, the kid you were meant to be, with Fonzie as the cool friend who sprinkled magic. When Ron Howard left in the early 80s, the show didn't pretend otherwise. Richie moves on, and the camera shifts. Suddenly, Fonzie isn't the side dish. He's the main course. Episodes lean harder into his job, his relationships, and his found family bond with the Cunninghams. It's a vibe shift from coming-of-age to personality-driven sitcom, proof that sometimes the supporting icon was the engine all along. Without Richie as the narrative compass, the show doubled down on Fonzie's growth, from cool loner to teacher, mentor, and unofficial son. It's not just more Fonzie, it's a character stepping into adult stakes the sitcom once only teased. You can also feel the era shift under the hood. Early 70s nostalgia gives way to broader, brighter 80s TV energy, bigger set pieces, broader laughs, and a willingness to let an icon carry quiet scenes. Number 6. Suzanne Summers exits Three's Company and the apartment changes. 1980 to 81. Suzanne Summers departs after a pay dispute when the farce machine has to keep humming. Chrissy Snow wasn't just a character, she was a comedic rhythm, innocence colliding with innuendo. When Suzanne Summers left after a very public fight, the series had to keep the gears turning without its most elastic clown. The solution was musical chairs. First cousin Cindy, then nurse Terry. Each brought a different tone. Cindy the physical chaos, Terry the adult competence, and the triangle rebalanced. The show carried on, a little less helium and a little more screwball precision. Behind the laughs, you could feel a new math clicking into place. Behind the camera, the production invented a holding pattern during the dispute. Chrissy on the phone from Fresno, a surreal half-presence that became part of TV labor lore. When the door finally closed, the new roommates unlocked fresh farce geometries. Terry's competence let writers flip some jokes. Jack could be earnest while the room spiraled, and Janet, the secret glue all along, got more runway. The show didn't become a different series. It became its adult phase. Number 5. John Schneider and Tom Wopat walk. Coy and Vance roll in. 1982 to 83. Coy and Vance sub in during season 5. Bo and Luke Duke were the Dukes of Hazzard. The smirks, the stunts, the yeehaw. Contract fight sideline, both stars, and suddenly we met Coy and Vance, Byron Cherry, Christopher Mayer, the cousin stand-ins. On paper, it was a smooth swap. Same car, same jumps, same theme song. In practice, audiences smelled the switch from a mile away. Ratings dipped, kids wrote letters, and the show's swagger took a hit. The network blinked, deals were made, and Bo and Luke roared back with the horn blaring. It's a case study in brand essence. Sometimes the irreplaceable thing is a pair of faces. Coy and Vance weren't bad. They were echoes. The lesson isn't that stand-ins can't work. It's that chemistry is a non-transferable asset. You can swap a hood and keep the paint job, but audiences feel when the engine note changes. When Bo and Luke returned, the relief was audible. The show snapped back into place like a seatbelt, a reminder that sometimes the most valuable IP is two humans in a frame, grinning like they're getting away with something. Mid-roll, drop the star exit that shocked you most and hit like if this ride's hitting the spot. Number 4. Charlotte Rae, Hands Off the Facts of Life. 1986, Charlotte Rae steps away. Cloris Leachman arrives. Mrs. Garrett was the lighthouse of Eastland, a patient adult presence who let the girls crash and learn. When Charlotte Rae stepped away mid-decade, the series faced a hole you couldn't paper over with jokes. Enter Beverly Ann, played by Cloris Leachman, who wisely didn't try to be Garrett 2.0. She brought a quirkier, ant-like vibe, and the show tilted a tick older and odder, leaning into post-high school plots. The result wasn't a clone. It was a second act that honored the original while admitting everyone had grown up a little. Leachman leaned into Beverly Ann's eccentricities, an aunt who meddles, misfires, and then apologizes with cookies. That gave the women space to be messier adults without losing the show's core warmth. The themes matured too. Career choices, late-blooming love, and money stress replaced simple dorm dilemmas. A handoff wasn't an ending. It was permission to time-skip emotionally. Number 3. Lisa Bonet leaves A Different World, and the world gets real. Post-season 1, 1988, Lisa Bonet exits. Debbie Allen retools. A Different World launched as Denise Huxtable's college spin-off, a charming, fish-out-of-water setup with comfy Cosbyverse DNA. After Bonet's exit, Debbie Allen retooled the series with a laser focus on campus life, culture, and the ensemble, especially Whitley and Dwayne Wayne. The tone sharpened, the subject matter deepened, and the show found its own identity separate from its parent. Ironically, losing its original star made it more itself, a rare case where subtraction equals clarity. Allen's campus-first mantra changed everything. Wardrobe, lighting, topics. Suddenly we're talking HBCU culture, finances, relationships with consequence, and classroom stakes that matter. The jokes stayed crisp. The center of gravity shifted from cute to true. Whitley and Dwayne's rise wasn't accidental. With the star exit, the writers bet on the duo's friction and growth, a bet that turned into one of the era's best slow-burn romances. Number 2, Miami Vice loses Zito, and the sunshine gets shadows. 1986, Season 3. Zito is killed off. Miami Vice was style married to mood, pastel suits, Phil Collins vibes, and undercover melancholy. When John Deal's detective Zito was killed off, the shock punched a hole in the buddy cop rhythm. The series leaned darker for a stretch, reminding viewers that the candy-colored neon always had a bullet hole hiding in the glow. It wasn't the headline star walking, but it was a star exit that nudged the show grittier and reset the emotional stakes. Down for the Count, a two-parter, underlines how dangerous the work really is. Zito's death cracked the show's cool. It said out loud what the palate only hinted. Undercover work eats people. The cops stopped feeling invincible, and the music cues suddenly carried ache as well as swagger. That tonal bruise let later episodes play with vulnerability, Crockett's edges, Tubbs's grief, without breaking the stylized world. A single character exit can widen a show's emotional color wheel. Number 1, Dynasty recasts Stephen Carrington and rewrites identity. 1982-83, Al Corley out, Jack Coleman in after an accident and surgery. Dynasty swung big. Stephen Carrington, one of Primetime's first major gay characters, exits with actor Al Corley, then returns literally rewritten, recast as Jack Coleman after accident and surgery. The move kept the character while changing his face and, controversially, some aspects of his arc. It signaled that the show would protect its chessboard even if it meant breaking realism, and it sent a message about representation evolving on the fly in the 80s. Recasts weren't new. Doing it with this character was. The ripple effects touched tone, fandom, and the future of serialized soap storytelling. Stephen was rare primetime gay representation in the early 80s. Keeping him, even via recast, mattered. Soap logic gave the writers cover. accidents, memory loss, new faces. But the subtext was louder. Primetime was negotiating in real time how to write a gay character for a mass audience. The recast kept Steven on the board while shifting emphasis across seasons. It also normalized a device soaps loved, but nighttime networks rarely tried. After Dynasty, more shows understood that keeping a character might matter more than keeping a face. It's messy, and it's history. Why did the 80s rewrite themselves so often after a star exit? Partly it was volume. 20-plus episodes a season meant the machine couldn't stop. Partly it was the era. Pre-social media, networks could gamble big and apologize later. And partly, it was the magic trick TV does when the lights go down. It asks us to accept a new normal in 30 minutes. Sometimes it worked so well we barely felt the seams. Sometimes we wrote letters about Coy and Vance. Either way, those pivots became part of the nostalgia, the very texture of what we remember. So tell us, which of these star exits blew your mind the most? Right now, you feel all fuzzy and nostalgic, yeah? For this feeling to last forever, you have to hit the like and subscribe button. Because with Box Set and Chill, the 80s and 90s never end.